All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Geezer Hood. Our same regular resident geezer hosts with us today. First up, still hailing from the geezer burbs of Los Angeles. I don't think he moved to a geezer hood in Florida, like we discussed last time. It's Ripe Old Rich. And from the geezer burbs of Denver. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he still hasn't moved to a geezer hood. It's DJ Slats.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
And I'm your host and moderator, and I definitely have not moved to a geezer hood. I described them eloquently as repulsive on our last show. It's me, JB. All right, gentlemen. Typically, we lead off with geezer weekends, but right now we have an event of cosmic proportions going on right now. We have a solar eclipse. So, Slats, why don't you lead us off? Is there anything to see in Denver? I know it's outside that path of
Not,
totality, but is anything going on out there?
not really. I went upstairs. My office is down here in the basement. And I went downstairs to
As
grab
it
some
should be.
lunch.
As it should be.
I went downstairs to grab some lunch,
Did you spray
and
for roaches while you're down there, Milton?
there was a tint. Let's just say there was a tint in the air. You know, there was the sun was not as nice as it always is. So yeah, didn't see anything really. Don't look at the sun. Don't look at the sun.
Life lessons from a real geezer?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that getting drilled into me from the time we were little kids, along
Yep.
with, hiding under your desk in case the Russians dropped the atomic bomb on us. Like that was going to do a lot of good.
Or in SoCal, you hit under the desk for earthquakes. You had earthquake drills too.
Well,
That might actually be meaningful, though, because
Yeah,
it might hit the desk instead of your head.
those old heavy metal desks. They actually would do something, huh?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, they could take, I mean, between all those tiny little desks, I bet it could support a wall if it came down. Those things were strong.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone would ever find you, but
True that.
SoCal area. Did you get any totality?
Now, out here it was about 50% is what they said. It started about 2 hours ago, and it's, I think, finishing up right about now. But I'm looking outside from upstairs in the loft, and it doesn't look any different. So my wife bought glasses on Amazon to look at it, not realizing we were not in the path of totality. So I think she felt like she wasted some money there, but you know, you can always watch it on the computer or watch it on the news at night. It's still pretty cool.
I'm, like 20 miles apart from Ripe Old Rich, very little here. Look outside, you can't tell anything's different. I did the pinhole camera. It looked like about maybe, I don't know, somewhere around 50% coverage, but you can't tell it's any different at all.
That's what they said. I looked online and it said, I think 49% coverage.
Yeah. And in future geezer news, the next solar eclipse that will have a path to totality over the United States is in 2045. In 2045, I will most certainly be a geezer. And I guess, well, we hope both of you two are still alive and kicking.
I'll be super geezer.
I'll be, yeah.
Will you be living in a geezer hood?
I hope to be retired. Let's just say that. Whether or not I will be, that's a whole other story.
And Ripe Old Rich, will you be living in a geezer hood, or you still be kicking it in the geezer burbs?
I don't know. That's a long way out. So 20 years from now, I could still be living around here. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. Well, how about some geezer weekends? I'll lead us off. I had a lot of geezering this weekend and the last week, which is part of why we're 2 weeks between our episode 2 and now our episode 3.
I think it's because I called you a geezer in training. So now you're doing geezer things.
Exactly. So
you didn't like that either.
No, very costly geezering. So my generation, we call it adulting, but for purposes of our show here, we'll call it geezering. So geezering / adulting, whatever you want to call it, a very painful variety. So we got a new climate system. Our HVAC / furnace and our air condenser were 32 years old. So decided it was time to replace them. Got a reasonably good deal. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, whip out the money there. That's right.
Yep. A lot of Benjamins
Going
dying
the
in the
wrong
name
way.
of comfort in the winter and the summers. And then we also found out we need a roof replacement as well. So that was unexpected. That's a major ouch. So to all you folks out there watching our show and listening right now, please tell your friends. We really need sponsors. That one really hurts. All right,
A new
and
sponsor of today's world is DJ's Roofing Company. Brought to you by.
It's a few bucks. That roof's almost as old as you are, or the
it is.
HVAC. Yeah. So
It is.
that's part of being a homeowner, though. The trials and
Mhm.
tribulations. People think it's a great thing to own a home, and I guess it is. But when you're younger and you got a family and you got to save money, it's that's a big hit.
Yeah,
My
I feel.
weekend, on the
Yeah,
other hand, wasn't bad. I've been binging a really, really fascinating Netflix series or documentary, I guess, called "The Bomb and the Cold War." I don't know if you guys have heard of it or seen it.
that's some geezer
And
talk.
the thing's great, though. It starts, back when the bomb was being developed, and it goes chronologically. It's 9 episodes. I'm actually watching it. I just finished the second time through because there was so much to absorb the first time,
Hmm.
and you really get quite a history lesson into Russia and Stalin. Stalin was a complete a-hole. It was very, very interesting. Very interesting. Goes all the way through, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, and I would recommend it to anybody that likes history. It's really good. Also went to the gym, the standard stuff, and I also ran across on YouTube. Sometimes you just run across these videos, and this is definitely Geezerville. Clips from the best of the Ed Sullivan Show. Anybody remember the Ed Sullivan Show? It's a
The
really big
Beatles
show.
do.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
Beatles.
alive for it, but I know it.
Well,
Were
Ed
you alive for the
Sullivan
Ed Sullivan
really
slats?
I don't know when it ended. I'm gonna guess I was close. Let's say that.
it was the show when I was a little kid. If you were on the Ed Sullivan Show, your career got a huge boost, and he had the biggest stars at the time, the Beatles, the Stones, and one of the things that Ed Sullivan was great about, people don't realize this, or maybe they do, people my age, was he didn't care whether you were black, white, purple, green. He had, black artists on when a lot of TV shows would not have them on. Sammy Davis Jr., Ella Fitzgerald, and all the Motown stars were on there. So he really helped a lot of Afro Americans develop their careers. It was on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It was probably one of the top rated shows for years, followed by Bonanza, one of Ripe Old Rich's
Bonanza.
favorites, at 9 o'clock, and then bedtime at 10. That was kind of my young childhood. But um, Ed Sullivan, he was kind of a buffoon as a host, but he would announce the names for the acts wrong sometimes. They said he liked to have a few shots before the show, but it was the show of the big show at the time.
Very good.
So that's kind of my weekend, watching some tube and working out,
Yep,
watching some baseball.
some real geezering too. We're going to talk about some baseball, but slats, where was your weekend at?
Um, it was absolutely painful, but we are
Was
good
it worse
now.
than mine?
I don't know. Let's just say that I've had an iPhone for almost 4 years, and what happens to iPhones after X amount of years? The battery starts wearing down. So they want to bring you back in, trade you in, get you a new one, lock you back into a contract. But here we are. We are up and running. Two new wife and I, 2 trips to the Verizon store. Hey, no complaints to the Verizon store. They were awesome. Proud work. Maybe a future sponsor. But it is painful.
Can you hear me
So
now?
painful.
Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Exactly.
Took you a second
Um,
there, huh?
it did. Let's just say it
He's
It
getting
took up
old.
a lot of our weekend. Took up a lot of weekend, but
If you go to
Stand
the
up,
two new
Apple
phones.
Celeste.
store, the Apple store will replace your battery in the iPhone for like $35.
Yeah, I know, but they basically give you a new phone for free for the most part if you
This
stick
is
with their
Slats.
contract.
This is Slats weekend.
Yeah.
They just
No, I
plan on, you're
so
making big bucks now, so you can afford it.
okay.
All right, so that was our geezer weekends. 2 out of 3,
Excuse me.
a little painful, and definitely some real geezering, adulting, and well, actually all of them kind of were. All right, moving along. How about some geezer finds? So during our 2 week hiatus,
Ugh, criminy. Ugh, okay. What was
Criminy?
that?
God, that's a geezer's logo
Criminy.
there, or slogan.
Mm-hmm.
Criminy?
Criminy. That's my British side of me coming out.
yeah.
Wow.
I was in a store the other day and I said, shut the fire truck up. And the guy looks at me and goes, I say that. He was about my age too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's speak some British. Let's get on with it. So
Okay.
geezer finds. So during our 2 week hiatus, that's primarily my fault. Went to see some family in sort of rural Houston, very much on the edge. Anyone out there familiar with Houston? They're so far away from the core of Houston. They are still outside the loop, and there's like 4 or 5 of those things now. So one of
Yeah.
the things we did while we were there is we went to the Old Town section of this sort of once rural area that's kind of becoming suburban now because it's getting built up because people have nowhere else to live. But they have a lot of antique stores. So I sent you some images of things I found and a lot of interesting finds in antique stores. You found some old dishes of Rolling Rock beer, which itself should be an antique. It stinks. Then we also found something I think Ripe Old Rich probably remembers very well reading Harper's Weekly, that an edition from 1858.
Hmm.
And also found a lot of old toys in there, a lot of dolls and some old games, a sequence. I definitely remember that as a kid. Yahtzee, even Ripe Old Rich. Yahtzee must have been around back when you were a
Yeah,
teeny
yeah.
bopper.
I don't know. Can't say I played it, but I know it.
Yeah, and just little old, like kind of like wagony thing in there with the old style wheels, that just like these black wheels and like little red hubcaps. So a lot of real interesting things in there. And then I don't know how many of you guys remember this. I don't really. I kind of remember this existing, but never taking off. But found the film Rain Man on a laser disc. Did either
Laser
of you
disc.
ever have a
Yeah.
laser disc player?
No.
No, they were like the compact discs, like a disc player.
They were
But
not compact
No,
at
they were
all. They looked
big.
like
They
no.
were big.
records.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. I never
Imagine a
had one, but
C-
I
yeah.
never had one.
imagine a
Yeah. I
CD
know
the
what they're.
size of a record.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Although the best thing you said there was Rain Man. That's Ripe Old Rich's favorite movie of all time.
Really, of all time.
I'm an excellent driver.
Judge Wapner's on it
I'm an
3.
excellent driver. That's one of
15
my
minutes to
favorite ones.
Wapner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay,
Great
hold
movie.
on. I'm going to say Rain Man above Rocky or Rocky 2.
Well, I like Rocky, obviously the connection to Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
Philly,
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna have to
Uh,
talk about that shortly.
but Rain Man, yeah, is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
All right, and another interesting find, last one, which is a good segue to where we're going to head next with the show. Some old Dodgers yearbooks covering 1959 through 1965, and yeah, most of them were in pretty good shape and kind of relevant to our show as we move into baseball because all three of us happen to be Dodgers fans. Slats is repping a new Dodgers hat today.
Mm.
I think that's his third one in 3 shows now. And as we move into talking about baseball, Ripe Old Rich, it is not football season, but care to explain yourself wearing Eagle stuff?
Why the Eagles?
Jake,
I grew up in southern New Jersey, and as a result, the Eagles were the closest team. Uh, Originally from New York, my dad, when they moved to South Jersey, decided he's going to become an Eagles fan, I guess. And he was an Eagles fan. We used to watch the game Sunday with my dad screaming at the TV, because they were not very good back then in the mid 60s to 70s. And I had to hear my dad yell at the TV, "Put me in. I can block better than these bums." And he might have. I mean, my dad was a phenomenal New York City football player in high school, and actually had opportunity to um, try out if he wanted to for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the late 40s, but didn't do it because he basically said football was it just wasn't what it is these days. They made no money and got their brains beat in. Um, but that's why I'm an Eagles fan, and Eagle fans we're tough fans. We're tough birds, as they say.
No one likes us, and we don't care.
That's right.
That's right. It's a
Can I
Philly
get a
thing.
hell yeah? Can I get a
Hell
hell
yeah.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yep. Go
All
Birds.
right. Let's talk about baseball. We're now into the third week of the season now? Is that right? I think we're into the third week of the season. Second week of the season?
Second.
Well, starting the third.
Yeah, we're starting the third.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we're into the third week of the baseball season. So what's your take on the Dodgers so far? Have you caught a lot of games on TV? Have you made it to any games yet? Slats, you're up first.
I made it to opening day because of Ripe Old Rich right here. Let's just give him a kudos if you can.
I think we might be able to give him something here.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Still got a connection or two left.
Yep, I'm just gonna say that opening day, wherever it is, came about very last minute. I'm blessed beyond belief to know that this even worked out. But Ripe Old Rich pinged me around 6:00 my time in Denver, Wednesday night. Let's keep that in mind. The game was Thursday. I had no plans nor intentions
at 1
or
o'clock.
anything to go. At 1 o'clock game. I was out to dinner with my wife. I looked at her. She goes, "I'm not going to stop you." Came home, booked some air. The first trip I booked, it was the wrong time. Had to rebook that. But somehow, some way, United
moment.
I had a geezer moment. Sorry. Somehow, some way, United Airlines pulled off a trip from Denver to San Francisco to Burbank. I landed. Ripe Old Rich picked me up, and we were there for the first pitch. And I flew home the next day, which happened to be my birthday. And, hey, I don't know how it worked out, but it was awesome. So thanks again, Rich. That's awesome. And the Dodgers won. And they won.
And they were good seats. They were
great seats.
Kudos to Chris Lee if he's out there. Chris
Lee, if you're listening, you're the man.
And I also, if I understand correctly, DJ Slats added a year.
Another trip around the sun. Yep.
Very nice. So Dodgers, as of recording time, are 8-4.
8-4.
Off to a little bit of an uneven start. A split with those minor league Padres over in Korea, and then good homestand, and then a little bit rough on the road against those Cubbies.
Yep.
A couple former Dodgers in Bush and Bellinger burning us a bit, but.
Yep.
Overall, 8-4 feels like reasonable start to the season. There's literally an all-star caliber pitching roster on IL right now.
Yep.
Yeah. How you guys feeling? I feel okay about the start so far. Otani's coming around. Yamamoto's starting to show some good things.
Yep.
And
I feel okay as well. I think Yamamoto the last two starts has actually been really strong.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the game where he got his first win, and he's got some nasty stuff. And with him, I think it's just command. And when he has his command, he's pretty tough, and he can throw a lot of different pitches. Otani's starting to heat up a little bit. They need more production consistently from the bottom of the order, 6 through 9. If they can do that, this is a tough team.
Right now, that 6 through 9, I'd say any one of us. We could probably put up the production right now.
Sadly,
Austin Barnes is somewhere around 200. He's
500. He's at 500. I think 3 for 6.
I like
448.
CT3, but CT3, man, that guy's done nothing since he signed that extension. I feel bad for him.
No, and I caught the Cubs game. I believe it was Saturday. Love Kike Hernandez. Love what he brings to the clubhouse and his energy on the field, at the plate. But I don't ever want to see him play center field again. He is not a major league center fielder.
No.
He needs to be left field, or he needs to be one of the middle infield positions.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the big surprise, although not a surprise to me, because you guys have heard me talk about it, is Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
The guy is hitting well. He's got a good lineup around him. He's got power, decent out in the field. So I think, you put him in a lineup batting fifth or sixth, and he brings some consistency potentially there and some power to the lineup. He could knock in over 100 runs easily.
Without a doubt, probably
And,
the best under the radar signing they did all year. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. When they got him, I thought this guy's going to have a good year.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Let's hope
he's
so.
been excellent. And quick final thought on the Dodgers. Will Smith recently got a nice long-term deal, 10 years, $140 million, taking definitely less per year than he's worth in exchange for the time. And a lot of times, you guys get big deals. They kind of stink a little bit out of the gate. And let's recognize Will Smith. He's off to a very good start and not missing a beat with that new contract.
Agreed, and a much better fielder than people give him credit for.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's an above average defensive catcher.
Mm-hmm.
I think people know that.
It's a tough position.
Okay. It is. You know what else is a tough position? Umpire. But you know who we can count on for consistency? Angel Hernandez. If you're out there, we want you on Geezer Talk. You belong. You, sir,
consistently
are
bad.
Did you see the New York fans giving him some love yesterday? Or I should say, did you hear them giving him some love?
Wasn't it FU Angel?
Yep, sure was.
Yes, and we're keeping it PC, right?
Yeah,
they did not say FU.
No, well,
you stay classy, New York.
Man, he's horrible.
He's the worst.
Horrible.
Yep. All right. What do you think? We have a little time left. Do you want to do a Geezer meme?
Sure. What do you got?
This is not a guessing game. This is going to be more of a conversation piece. So go ahead and check your phones, and it'll appear on screen now for the viewers. And interested in your take,
is ready.
Yeah, and we've all lived through the 90s, so a little bit of a compare and contrast between what people nowadays think the 90s was versus what it actually looked like inside of houses. And curious, what did your house look like in the 90s? Did it look like the image on the left or more like the image on the right?
I guess what I'm looking at, the right, looks like it's the 1890s, not the 1990s.
Yeah, but that one on the left.
Is that an 1890s?
The one on the left was not my house. I'll tell you that. That looks like Don Johnson.
Not mine either. I think the one on the left actually kind of looks like a boutique hotel today in 2024. The image, I think, kind of conveys that people tend to have older stuff. Most people don't have the flashy new stuff on the left. They tend to have older hand-me-down furniture may have come from their parents. And I think my house and the furnishings definitely look closer to the right than the left. I would say overall it looked more modern, but we definitely had some old pieces like that kind of hutch-looking thing. That the wood.
Oh
table.
yeah, definitely. The dark wood.
That's pretty much more on point.
Yeah, for sure.
And the one on the left, I agree, looks like some kind of trendy boutique hotel or something like that.
Something from Miami Vice.
I agree. Dun, 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 dun.
There's some geezer talk.
Theme song.
Miami Vice isn't that old. That's what, 80s, I guess.
That was the Friday night of Friday nights, man. JB, were you around then? Was it with Miami Vice?
In the 80s, yeah. I wasn't watching Miami Vice, though.
Oh, that was Friday nights were the best.
Sesame Street.
Yeah,
Sesame Street.
Probably Sesame Street. Yep. What else?
Rugrats.
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee was the best. Pee Wee There's a special
on
somewhere on.
TV, off the camera.
Oh, yeah, I'm not
He
talking
was
his
different.
no. I'm not talking his after hours stuff. I'm talking his Pee Wee's Playhouse was
He
one
was
of the most.
creative. He was creative.
Oh, without a
Very.
doubt, Pee Wee's Playhouse was one of the most revolutionary, genius Saturday morning shows. I mean, I was an adult watching that. That was genius. Cherry and all the guest stars he had on there. Oh my gosh, that guy was
I wish I could
talented.
do his laugh. His laugh was good. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
good.
Hard to believe. I actually think when he passed away, I think he was 70 years old.
Yeah,
This happened
yeah,
a few months ago.
it wasn't too long ago.
Right, but you
Sadly,
don't think
yeah.
of Pee Wee Herman 70 years old. He didn't look it.
No, he had,
Gotta
but
have-
he was out of the spotlight for a long time, and unfortunately, he had cancer, and he kept it. He stayed undercover for a while. Yeah, unfortunately, he hid it from the public. Cancer sucks. Just in case anyone doesn't know. So,
I think we
with
all,
that said,
all would agree with that statement.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I've got a suggestion. I have a suggestion. I think, we talked about baseball a little bit today, right? And I think one of the things we all need here, we each need a walk-up song. So like when you introduce us, we have our own song. I've got mine picked out, I think, so I did a little bit of thinking about this. And yeah, I could come up with funny ones or whatever.
I
The
got
right
one
one.
too.
All right.
All right. We
All right,
will
that's
share
your
them along
assignment.
with. We'll share what we come up with next time, and have lots of other geezer-related banter back here in the Geezer Hood on Geezer Talk.
remember, it's time for Dodger baseball. Let's go.